building where I'm paying 1 million. In data, I won't pay up to that. I'll be paying something like 300,000 or 350. And for me to pay 300 or 350, it has to be top notch. You understand? Top notch.
Shelter is one of the most essential basic needs of humankind. Therefore, housing plays a vital role in a person's standard of living and place in the society. As the economy continues to deteriorate, a lot of Nigerians are facing serious housing challenges. Millions in Nigeria struggle for affordable housing amid the real estate boom. Experts say cities such as Lagos and Abuja have the kind of buildings and architecture that are high in demand. The question and concern over the years is, why is Lagos and Abuja the most expensive and sought-after cities in Nigeria? Rootstv reports the various challenges people face in regards to housing, high cost of rent, low-income residents, among others. The housing market is influenced by the state of the economy, interest rates, real income, and changes in the size of the population. Many speculate that the reason for the expensive rent in Abuja is to discourage the low class from migrating to the city. How effective is this strategy? The low class still seems to be migrating every day to the city to find a good means to survive. In an exclusive interview with tenants living in Kamajiji in Abuja, a low-income area which Nigerians use a slang, trenches, to describe such area, they spoke about their challenges with rent payment, why they chose the location, security threats, among others.
Well, our challenges are many because the money we are paying for houses on the high side, and I don't think it's supposed to be like that. Can you imagine we are paying 250,000 naira as house rent? I don't know if you understand what I mean. It's not okay now, it's on the high side. I don't know if you understand what I mean. And just for this ghetto, and we are living in the ghetto and we are paying 250,000 naira. So on the high side, I've been in this area since 2019, I think about 3 years. Yes, this is my 40. Actually, when I moved in, we were paying 130. We were paying 130,000 naira. So she increased it to 200,000 naira. Then this year, she now increased it to 250. Yes.
My challenges are, I don't even know the word to use to qualify it, but at first, it was rosy at first, but in the later on, it's a bit difficult, whereby when you pack into an environment for like a year, and you're hearing when your landlord is saying he wants to make an increment, which is not favorable for we the tenants staying in that particular environment. The rent in my state, Delta State, is more lower because I was there like last Xmas, and seeing some of my relations, my cousins, my family, asking them some personal questions. Even this house I'm staying here, that is close to 300. In my own place, it is 150. You can go see it for 120 or 100. We're furnished with a lot of POP, full generator lights, like an estate, and you'll be paying 120,000. You'll be happy living in Delta State. Choosing Abuja because I felt Abuja is a place where is a transportation less stress, movement less stress, and I really need the connection I actually need to make sure everything works out well for me. So that's why I decided to make here my residence.
The challenge was so terrible because sometimes when you pay for a rent a year, the second year will be terrible for you to pay because that first year is even okay, but the second year you will be looking for the money to pay. But at the end, if you didn't see it, the landlord will be telling you all sorts of words that you have never even heard in your life. Like my caretaker is not even the rate landlord of the house, is the caretaker. His name is Mr. Bello. So he asked us to pay some amount of money after increased the money when the owner of the house was not aware of it. And he said that from 150 to 250, 100,000 different, which everybody said he cannot pay. But later on, he came back, he said that the landlord said we should pay 190 at the end of the discussion. After 2 weeks, he came back to tell us that we should pay 190, which everybody agreed to pay. But later on, I don't know what happened between him and my husband. He just came in, said that he doesn't need us again, that we should pack away from the house. I said, what happened? What is it? Even the money I wanted to give to him, he said that no, we should go and get more and add to it, get a new apartment.
A landlord in the same location spoke on the causes of high cost of rent, his challenges in building houses, and the extra service he renders to his tenants.
This is my third property I'm having in this place. Like the first property when I acquired here, I bought the land at a cheaper rate. Although it's a community local land, not a government allocation land. So when I bought the land, then the cost of me building it was not that on the high side. But this other property you are seeing me standing at the front now, it cost me a lot. I almost used ×2 of what I spent on the first property to build it up. Like then, I bought a block at the rate of 18 naira per block. But now we are buying a block at the rate of 250, 300, as the case may be, depending on the customer that you already build, relationship built with your customer. And moreover, the price of rod as at then, rod was sold at the rate of 1,200, but now rod is 4,800 per length. Likewise, Smith then when I was building the previous house, then I used 1,500 to buy a bag of Smith. But now currently we are buying the bag of Smith at the rate of 4,500. You accumulate all those things together, you find out that we are just trying to see even the money we fix in the house is still cheap to us, because it will take us years before we can be able to recover what we spent in the house while building it. You understand? Compared to the way it was before. Previously, self-contained here, we normally give it at the rate of 120. The one with water. The one without water, we give it at the rate of 80,000. But subsequently, things keep going up. So we have to increase the price because we have family as well that we take care of. You understand? So the price we use to buy things then is not the same price we are using to buy things now. So that's just it.
Tenants observe that those living in the trenches in Abuja, when compared to other parts of the country, pay more for one-bedroom apartment. They also observe that the funds one can use to get a comfortable 3-bedroom apartment in the southeast or other parts of Nigeria, it is impossible to find that in some rural areas in the aforementioned cities. Tenants living in the urban areas have their own stories to tell. Mary Jane, a tenant living in Life Camp Abuja, narrates the difficulties with earning and living in the capital city.
I think most of the challenges we have in Abuja, paying house rent in Abuja, are the kind of job offers we get. Okay, as a realtor, you know, if you are not really stable, like you don't get, your client base is not big yet, you're going to have a lot of challenges in paying your rent, if that's the only source where you get your money from. So most of the times, some landlord will not want to help you out in paying the rent bit by bit. They want it in bulk. If they will allow us to pay, maybe sometimes when I have 3 months, I can just send. 1 month I send, I think it will be a lot easier for us to actually pay the rent. So if there's no inflow of cash, it's a big challenge to actually pay rent in Abuja because the rents are not smaller rents like in the States. The money I paid for this place is not worth it. Yeah, I paid about ₦1 million to get this house, and it was just ceiling back then. I had to do POP, renovated the place, changed the toilet seat. I just want somewhere I'm comfortable in. And even discussing that with my landlord, I expected him to say, okay, for the fact that you spent over ₦1 million to renovate, I will give you a slash down. But rather, he told me he wanted to increase the rent, but he's going to give me a year first before he increases the rent. Real estate is like a blood money business. You might just be empty now, the next moment, boom, you'll be holding like 800,000 naira just for a day job. It's not found anywhere. You understand? That's why it's hard for realtors to actually save up, because the money comes like blood money. And when it comes, you want to spend it like now, because you feel the next moment you enter the street, hits the street, you're going to get more than what you just spent.
One would wonder, is it the cost of land and building materials that caused the overpricing of properties in FCT, or are the landlords being inconsiderate?
The increment of house rents in Abuja has so many devices that causes them. Let's start from the fact that we operate open market economy here in Nigeria. Every businessman or manufacturer or whatever can fix any price they want in any of their goods they are selling or building materials. Even if sometimes there are laws that makes them sell on uniform rates, but you still have some selling the way they want to sell, which government cannot really control. So high rate of cost of materials is part of it. That's one. The land value of properties here in Abuja is also another major factor. Like, you don't compare lands you buy in the major city centers to lands you buy around the satellite town or the suburb areas, whether they are estate lands or RFO or whatever. But if you are buying a land in a high rate in Metama or Usetu or Mabuchi, Lifecam or Garabu, you will also have to increase your house rent to meet up the standard of the value you bought. You want to increase your house rent after building, coupled with the cost of materials, land value and all. So it's also one of the major factors that causes it. And other services too. We render to our properties. Like, there are services we render. That's why we also ask for service charge in most of our properties, because we render some services that also makes the prices high. If you are renting a 2-bedroom, blocks of flat, some of the properties will have generator to run for some certain hours. Some will have generator that will run for 24 hours, or whenever there is no power supply, there must be gen running. So that house is a 247 lights. You must have lights there 247 in the house. Then some of the houses we install ACs, TV console, heat extractor. Wardrobe normally comes with houses, wardrobe kitchen cabinet comes with houses. When we install, like in your bath, they will install jacuzzi for you, and all this modern glass we use in our bathrooms. Coupled with the fact that your waste disposal will be on the services we are rendering, pumping of water, lighting of common areas, and security.
The cost of buying land in town, especially in Abuja, is really high. When you want to buy land, it ranges from 100 million to about 500 million just to get a land. Then we also we've not even talked about cost of material. The cost of materials keep increasing. For example, as about 2 years, we used to buy a bag of cement for about 2.8, but right now it's selling at 4.5. That's about 200% increase. So, and every aim of any investor in the real estate is to have return on investment. So there's no reason why a landlord will not increase, because things are going up. Even inflation too also has a role to play. He goes to the market, he can't even buy for example, he rents a house for 100,000 per annum, and then that could buy him a lot of things as of 2 years back, but 100,000 now, we all know in the market, can't even buy you anything. So he has to augment his cash flow by increasing the rental value of his house. Then we also talk about insecurity. Insecurity has also affected it, because we have a high flux of people moving into town, and then that also, when there's high influx, there's a lot of demand, and then we talk about the law of supply and demand. Okay? And when there's high demand, things go up. So these are the reasons why there's high cost of rent in Abuja as we speak now. And let's not forget that Abuja is also the seat of the government, it's the capital. So the rental value in Abuja would definitely be higher compared to other states. When we talk about pricing, when we talk about factors that determine prices of land, it's basically location. Now, those places that range from that I mentioned earlier, 100 to 500, we're talking about, these are highbrow areas, these are prime locations. We talk about Maitama, everyone knows Maitama, to stay in Maitama, So those places are high. Yes, so we still have the outskirts, yeah, where we have the lube you can have for those low-income earners to buy. Yeah, but as long as you're buying it, you're buying in a very prime location. That is the number one factor for the pricing.